The Comedic Life of Jeffrey Jerome Price by Council of Greg's Chapter 1. The Great Barbecue Debacle. Jeffrey Jerome Price had always been the life of the party, so when he decided to throw a massive barbecue in his backyard, the entire neighborhood was buzzing with excitement. Flyers were posted on every corner, and word spread like wildfire. It was the event of the season, and no one wanted to miss it. As the day of the barbecue approached, Jeffrey realized he might have bitten off more than he could chew. He had a modest grill and a handful of burgers and hot dogs, but the RSVP list had grown to over 100 people. Determined to make it work, he raided the local supermarket, buying up all the meat, buns, and condiments he could find. The morning of the barbecue was a flurry of activity. Jeffrey's backyard transformed into a festive wonderland, complete with string lights, picnic tables, and a DIY bar. Guests began arriving, each bringing side dishes, desserts, and plenty of good spirits. The smell of grilling meat filled the air, mingling with laughter and the sound of children playing. However, it didn't take long for Jeffrey to realize he was in over his head. The small grill was quickly overwhelmed, and the growing line of hungry guests became restless. In a panic, Jeffrey attempted to speed up the process by piling more charcoal into the grill and turning the heat up to the max. This, of course, led to more problems. The grill flared up, sending flames high into the air. Smoke billowed out, causing guests to cough and wave their hands. Jeffrey, determined to salvage the situation, grabbed a garden hose and started spraying the grill, hoping to tame the fire. Instead, the water caused more smoke and sizzled meat, creating a chaotic scene. Just as things seemed to be settling down, someone shouted, "The fire department's here." Sure enough, a fire truck pulled up, lights flashing and sirens blaring. The firefighters jumped out, ready to tackle what they assumed was a serious blaze. Jeffrey, covered in soot and grease, sheepishly explained the situation. The firefighters couldn't help but laugh at the absurdity of it all. They helped Jeffrey get the grill under control and even stayed for a while to enjoy the barbecue, sharing stories and enjoying the food. Despite the chaos, the party was a hit, and everyone left with a memorable story to tell. Jeffrey's great barbecue debacle became legendary in the neighborhood. Though he may have underestimated the logistics, his determination and sense of humor turned a potential disaster into a hilarious and unforgettable event. Chapter 2. The Rodeo. Jeffrey Jerome Price was always up for a challenge, no matter how outlandish it seemed. So when he saw a flyer for the local rodeo with a big, bold amateur bull riding competition headline, he knew he had to give it a shot. The thrill, the adrenaline, and the opportunity to make a fool of himself in front of a large crowd were too tempting to resist. The day of the rodeo, Jeffrey strutted into the arena with a borrowed cowboy hat, a pair of boots that didn't quite fit, and a grin that stretched from ear to ear. His friends tagged along, eager to witness the spectacle they knew was coming. Despite never having ridden a bull, or even a mechanical one, Jeffrey signed up, convinced he could handle it. As he waited for his turn, Jeffrey watched the seasoned cowboys with a mix of awe and trepidation. Their effortless control and grace atop the bucking beasts were impressive, but Jeffrey's confidence remained unshaken. He was sure that sheer determination and a bit of luck would see him through. Finally, his name was called. Jeffrey took a deep breath and climbed into the chute, where a massive, snorting bull awaited. The cowboy helping him get situated gave him a dubious look but offered a few words of encouragement. "Hold on tight and try to stay in the middle," he advised. Jeffrey nodded, gripping the rope with all his might. The gate swung open, and the bull exploded out of the chute like a rocket. Jeffrey's first thought was that he might have made a terrible mistake. The bull bucked and twisted, determined to throw off the unfamiliar rider. Jeffrey's hat flew off almost immediately, and his boots, too large to stay on, followed shortly after. Despite the chaos, Jeffrey managed to hold on for a few seconds, long enough for the crowd to start cheering. His wild, flailing ride was more comical than skillful, but it was undeniably entertaining. Just as he started to feel a shred of control, the bull made a sudden, sharp turn. Jeffrey was launched into the air, arms and legs pinwheeling as he sailed a good 10 feet before landing in the dirt with a thud. The crowd roared with laughter and applause. Jeffrey, dazed but uninjured, picked himself up and gave an exaggerated bow, dusting off his clothes. The rodeo clowns rushed in to distract the bull, allowing Jeffrey to make his way to the sidelines, where his friends greeted him with high fives and backslaps. Though he didn't last long on the bull, Jeffrey's fearless attempt and dramatic dismount earned him instant fame. His antics were the talk of the rodeo for weeks, and videos of his ride went viral on social media, solidifying his status as a local legend. Jeffrey's rodeo became a cherished memory, a testament to his unyielding spirit and knack for turning every challenge into an unforgettable adventure. Chapter 3: The Car Wash Catastrophe. Jeffrey Jerome Price was always on the lookout for new ventures, and with summer in full swing, he decided to start a mobile car wash business. Armed with a bucket, sponges, and a variety of cleaning supplies, he envisioned making a tidy profit while enjoying the sunny weather. Jeffrey's car wash service was an instant hit. His charm and enthusiasm drew customers from all over the neighborhood. He washed cars in driveways, at parks, and even at the local strip mall. Business was booming, and Jeffrey was loving every minute of it. However, Jeffrey's lack of experience soon led to an unexpected disaster. One particularly busy Saturday, he reached into his cleaning supplies and grabbed what he thought was soap. In reality, it was car wax, and he liberally applied it to the first vehicle of the day. Oblivious to the mix-up, he scrubbed and rinsed, moving on to the next car without a second thought. As the day progressed, more cars lined up, and Jeffrey continued his enthusiastic but misguided work. It wasn't until the sun began to set that the first customer returned, frowning as they inspected their now sticky and smeared car. "What did you use on this?" the customer demanded, rubbing a hand over the gummy surface. Jeffrey, confused, checked his supplies and realized his mistake. Panic set in, but he quickly donned his usual can-do attitude. "Don't worry, I can fix this," he declared. He grabbed more cleaning products, hoping to remove the wax, but his efforts only made the situation worse. The more he scrubbed, the more the wax spread, creating a streaky, blotchy mess. Word spread quickly among his customers, and soon a small crowd gathered, watching Jeffrey's increasingly desperate attempts to clean up the sticky disaster. Laughter and good-natured teasing filled the air as people shared photos and videos of the spectacle. Jeffrey, determined to make things right, tried everything from soapy water to vinegar, but nothing worked. One customer, a retired mechanic named Gus, took pity on Jeffrey and offered some advice. "You need to use a special wax remover. Soap and water won't cut it." With Gus's help, Jeffrey managed to track down the right product, and together they began the painstaking process of undoing the damage. By the time the last car was cleaned, it was well into the night. Jeffrey, exhausted but grateful for the help, thanked Gus and apologized to his customers, who, despite the inconvenience, appreciated his effort and determination. Jeffrey's car wash catastrophe became another legendary tale in the neighborhood. His misadventure was a lesson in humility and perseverance, and he was soon back in business, this time with a better understanding of his supplies. The story of Jeffrey's sticky situation was retold at every barbecue and block party, cementing his status as the neighborhood's beloved knucklehead. Chapter 4: The Fishing Fiasco. Jeffrey Jerome Price and his friends decided that a fishing trip to a nearby lake would be the perfect way to spend a sunny Saturday. With coolers packed, fishing rods ready, and plenty of snacks, they set off early in the morning, eager for a day of relaxation and bonding. Upon arriving at the lake, the group spread out along the shore, each picking what they hoped would be the perfect spot. Jeffrey, never one to shy away from a challenge, declared, "I'm going to catch the biggest fish in this lake." His friends laughed, knowing Jeffrey's tendency for bold statements. As the hours passed, Jeffrey's fishing skills, or lack thereof, became increasingly evident. He cast his line with enthusiasm but somehow managed to tangle it in nearby trees, bushes, and even his own chair. Each time, his friends had to help him untangle the mess, all while teasing him mercilessly. Determined to prove himself, Jeffrey decided to wade into the shallow water for a better casting position. Predictably, he slipped on a mossy rock and fell with a splash, soaking himself from head to toe. His friends doubled over with laughter as Jeffrey emerged, dripping and grinning. "Just testing the water," he quipped, not letting the mishap dampen his spirits. Despite the rough start, Jeffrey continued to fish with unwavering determination. At one point, he felt a strong tug on his line. "I've got one," he shouted, reeling in with all his might. His friends gathered around, watching eagerly. After a dramatic struggle, Jeffrey finally pulled his catch from the water, a worn-out, mud-covered boot. The group burst into laughter, and Jeffrey held the boot up triumphantly. "It's a rare species," he joked, posing for pictures with his unusual catch. The boot became the mascot of the day, and the jokes and puns flowed as freely as the drinks from their coolers. As the sun began to set, the fish remained elusive, but the group's spirits were high. They built a small campfire, roasted marshmallows, and shared stories of the day's events. Jeffrey, despite his numerous mishaps, was the heart of the adventure, keeping everyone entertained with his antics and positive attitude. When it was time to pack up and head home, the group agreed that, despite the lack of fish, the trip had been a resounding success. The fishing fiasco became another cherished chapter in Jeffrey's ever-growing collection of misadventures. His friends knew that any outing with Jeffrey was guaranteed to be unforgettable, filled with laughter and unexpected twists. Jeffrey's determination, sense of humor, and ability to turn every mishap into a memorable story made him the perfect companion for any adventure, big or small. The day might not have yielded the biggest fish, but it was a big win for friendship and fun. Chapter 5, The Karaoke Craze. Jeffrey Jerome Price was certain that beneath his rugged exterior lay the heart and voice of a superstar. When he heard about a karaoke contest at the local bar, he knew it was his chance to shine. Armed with boundless confidence and a knack for theatrics, Jeffrey signed up, determined to wow the crowd. The night of the contest, the bar was packed. Friends, family, and curious onlookers filled the space, eager to see the variety of talent, or lack thereof, that would grace the stage. Jeffrey arrived with a small entourage, including his closest friends who were well aware of his penchant for over-the-top antics. Jeffrey had carefully selected his performance pieces, opting for a medley of pop hits that ranged from power ballads to high-energy dance tracks. He'd even planned costume changes to match each song, turning the karaoke contest into his personal one-man show. As his name was called, Jeffrey took the stage with a flourish. He started with a soulful rendition of a classic ballad, pouring his heart into every note. His friends cheered him on, though the audience was more amused than impressed by his somewhat off-key singing. Undeterred, Jeffrey transitioned seamlessly into an upbeat pop song, complete with a quick costume change behind a makeshift screen. The crowd roared with laughter and applause as Jeffrey emerged in a sequin jacket and sunglasses, belting out the chorus while attempting some awkward dance moves. His enthusiasm was infectious, and soon the entire bar was clapping and singing along. Jeffrey's performance grew increasingly outrageous with each song. At one point, he grabbed a prop guitar and pretended to shred an epic solo, only to accidentally knock over a microphone stand, sending it clattering to the floor. The mishap only added to the hilarity, and Jeffrey rolled with it, turning the blunder into an impromptu dance move. For his final number, Jeffrey pulled out all the stops. He donned a feathered boa and a top hat, launching into a dramatic rendition of a show tune. He twirled, spun, and even attempted a cartwheel, narrowly avoiding a tumble off the stage. By the end of his set, the audience was in stitches, wiping tears of laughter from their eyes. When the time came to announce the winners, it was clear that Jeffrey's vocal prowess wasn't quite enough to secure the top spot. But the judges awarded him a special prize for Most Entertaining Performance, recognizing the unforgettable spectacle he had created. Jeffrey accepted the award with a deep bow and a wink, basking in the cheers and laughter of the crowd. His performance became the stuff of local legend, with people recounting his antics for weeks afterward. Videos of his over-the-top act circulated on social media, further cementing his status as the town's favorite knucklehead. The karaoke craze was a testament to Jeffrey's fearless spirit and his ability to turn any situation into a memorable experience. Though he didn't win the contest, he won the hearts of everyone who witnessed his unforgettable performance, proving once again that with Jeffrey Jerome Price, every day was an adventure worth celebrating.